Good morning. He's right, I can't see a thing. I can see you there. My name is Max, and what I do is I teach people to, first of all, look into their body, move their body, and then I teach them to move their body by initiating movement with breath. We're breathing right now, but we're not breathing in a transformative way. We're breathing in a autopilot way, just enough to survive. But when we learn to breathe in a new way, we learn to manage our emotions, and that's no small thing. Because now, in America, we become a medicated society. We have close to 70 million people now taking sleep aids every night. 70. We have 40 to 50 million people taking antidepressants or anti-anxiety drugs every day to exist. Now, if you take these medications, it doesn't mean you're a bad person, but what it means is you've gone to a doctor and you basically said, I don't know what else to do. And many of the people I work with are very successful. They run corporations, law firms. Some of them are renowned physicians who live on sleep medication, high blood pressure medication, and antidepressants. So something isn't working. Now, with these skyrocketing statistics I just told you about, at the same time we have an explosion of technology, and I want to talk about that for a minute because some of you are very keenly aware of what's happening in this world, and some of you aren't. Let me give you a couple of examples. One is, they believe that within just a few decades, they'll be able to double our lifespan. Within just a few decades, meaning most of us, our lifetime, double our lifespan. That's one thing. Another is I just read a headline that the internet could become self-aware by 2030. The internet becomes self-aware by 2030. This wasn't just a guess. There are many people who are projecting this is actually going to happen. Some say Google itself, the search engine, will become self-aware by 2030. So we have this explosion of technology which is growing exponentially. But simultaneously, we have a decline in happiness in our culture. I do believe they're connected. I don't believe technology is the only cause, but I believe it's one of the causes. Not the technology itself, but the way we use it or abuse it. Because we're dedicating ourselves now to a virtual life instead of an actual life. Now, I mentioned that there is no app for happiness. That's the title of this talk. I'll go further. There is no software for becoming self-aware. And one of the first things we need to do as human beings is to become self-aware. And that means we understand our motivations, our desires, and our ethics, and are able to express them. In 2008, we had a collapse of the economy, as you know. This was not a software glitch. This was not a tech problem. This was an ethics collapse. So along with the economic collapse, I would say it was caused by an ethics collapse internationally. So this is what this talk is about. First of all, I don't want you to think I'm against technology, even though I am using a book and not a PowerPoint presentation. They asked me if I have one, and I said, well, I'm just going to stand in my power and point. One of the reasons that we're not as happy as we could be is we are very undereducated in terms of happiness. I'll give you a couple of examples. Raise your hand if when you were in high school, you were given a conflict resolution course. You took a class in conflict resolution in high school. Crickets. Nobody. Raise your hand if while in high school you had a lot of conflict. Yeah. Raise your hand if while in high school you were taught breathing exercises in order to manage your emotions. Nobody. The only people in this country on a wide scale that are taught how to breathe are women about to give birth. So science has acknowledged that it helps to manage emotional pain and physical pain, but only for women giving birth. The rest of us can take a walk, yeah? You go to the burn unit in the hospital, there's people in pain there too. You go to the orthopedic section where people are in traction, people are in pain there too, but they're not taught how to breathe. It's interesting. So we're very undereducated. Now you may be saying, well, in high school, it's really about learning things that will help you get a job, and learning to breathe and conflict resolution classes won't help you get a job. This is true, but it might help you keep a job, and it might help you keep a marriage. No small thing. Yeah. Now, I use a laptop every day, and I have a cell phone, which is off right now. I hope yours is as well. So I'm not anti-technology, but I think we should use it for what it's good for and not use it for what it isn't good for. All changes are not better. We have a cell phone now where we can actually talk to people, and we say it's improved our ability to communicate, but I think it's not true. It's improved our ability to communicate from anywhere, but has it actually improved the quality of your conversations? Do you communicate better with your loved ones because you have a cell phone? And the funny thing is, most children and teenagers, they don't use a cell phone to talk on at all. They send text messages, which is one step up from Morse code. I think if the new cell phones came out with a Morse code app, it would sell. It would work. It's interesting, I know so many people who have never heard of Skype. In my generation, we all wanted basically Skype. We wanted a TV screen where we could talk and see our friends, and that was the dream of the Jetson age. But now we have it, and most people don't use it. We'd rather send Morse code. In robotics now, they are making great strides in teaching humanoid-type robots to have human expressions, to make eye contact, to look at each other. For example, I saw this one humanoid robot in a TED Talk, actually, and they showed how they could yell at the robot, and the robot's face would look just like a human. It would lower its eyes and take its head down like it's being submissive. Or they could praise the robot, and the robot would be watching the speaker's eyes and would lift its head up and smile. It's being praised. So we're teaching robots to make eye contact and watch for nonverbal cues, because humans communicate 90% nonverbally. But we humans are learning not to look in people's eyes and not to use nonverbal cues, but rather communicate this way and put smiley faces to try to humanize it. So it doesn't matter what we invent as long as we continue to work from the reptilian mind. The reptilian mind, which we all have, works like this. If it finds an object, it says, should I run from it? Like your cat with the vacuum cleaner. Should I run from it? Can I eat it? Can I kill with it? Can I have sex with it? That's the reptilian mind. Internet, who financed it? The Defense Department. Can I kill with it? We've got this new thing, internet. What's the #1 business on the internet? Pornography, by far. Can I have sex with it? So we invent the internet, we think, okay, can I go to war with it? Can I have sex with it? Can't eat it, but I can order in with it. The new reptilian mind adds a 5th, can I make money with it? But I want to tell you a quick story about an inventor named Santos Dumont. They sometimes called him Little Santos. He was one of the inventors of the airplane. He was Brazilian, and he was very wealthy because his father was a plantation owner. In the Victorian era, at the end of it, he moved to Paris and started working in the new aviation boom that was happening then. And he built, designed, and flew the first airplane in Europe in 1906, just a short time after the Wright brothers. Now, he was a humanitarian. He really wasn't interested in making money. He wasn't driven by, I'm going to make $1 billion out of this. He just wanted to build an airplane that would serve humanity. And he thought that humanity would be uplifted, not just literally, but figuratively uplifted, if we could have air flight. So once he developed the best plane in the world, it was determined at one point that his plane, his newest model, was the best designed plane in the world. He gave away his design. He published the design of his plane in every major newspaper across the world and gave it away for free to the world. But what happened was, as soon as governments got their hands on the plans, they immediately made warplanes. And this ushered in World War I, dogfights, bombings from the air for the first time. He was so despondent, he was so depressed, that it was one of the contributing factors to his suicide. He had the best intentions, but what came of it was war. So, there is no app for happiness or ethics, or necessarily even to get us out of the reptilian mind. So what I'd like to talk to you about now is 3 things we can do to change ourselves from the ground up, because I don't think we can really change the world without changing ourselves. And we can use very old technology to do this. It isn't really even that difficult. We just haven't been educated. So first thing we need to do, we need to ask questions of ourselves. A lot of people don't do this. I know this because I ask people, I take polls, I say, raise your hand if right now you can tell me your list of ethics. Right now, without hesitation. What's your code of ethics? And most people hesitate. We have a vague notion of what we believe in, but we don't have a concrete notion. So one of the things we need to do is ask ourselves questions like these. What are my ethics? What do I stand for in this world? Who are my friends? I don't mean friends on Facebook. I mean, who can I call at 3 in the morning when I need help and say, can you help me? And they'll come. Who are my friends? If I had to flee the country, I have 30 minutes to pack. I can bring 1 suitcase. What would I bring? These type of questions start to illuminate who we are to ourselves, and we start to understand more what to do. Another thing I suggest is, those of you in business, you already have a cost-benefit analysis form. I've taken a cost-benefit analysis form and I've updated it to include not just monetary terms, but health, happiness, and family. For example, if you're going to create a business, and you say, look, we can make a lot of money doing this business, but I'm going to have to work 70 hours a week. You do your cost-benefit analysis. Will this pencil out financially? But then you look, what will it cost my health? If I have to work 70 hours a week for 5 years, what's that going to cost my health? Because if I look at my coworkers, they're all drugged. They're on high blood pressure medication, etc. What's it going to cost my family? Will my kids see me? Will I get to see them? Will I be an absentee father, mother? So we start looking at costs to family, health, and happiness, and benefits toward family, health, and happiness. And then you have a real cost-benefit analysis that works for your life. That's holistic rather than just monetary. Because if you lose your family, or you lose your health, you lose everything. If you lose your family, or if you lose your health, you lose everything. As Joseph Campbell said, sometimes we get to the top of the ladder to find out we're leaning against the wrong wall. Second, live your life knowing that your time and your lifespan are the same thing. Your time and your lifespan are the same thing. So I don't suggest you kill time. Yeah. Every hour you spend on Facebook or playing a video game, you spend away from someone who loves you. And lastly, begin a regime and this is going to sound like a lot, a 1 hour a day regime, 1 hour a day, which illuminates, strengthens, and heals you. I teach Hatha Yoga as part of my system, and I believe in it because of what I see it do for people. But there are other regimes. There's Qigong, Tai Chi, etc. Choose one, 1 hour a day. And you're going to say, where do I have the time to do that? I don't have enough time to do anything now. Do a cost-benefit analysis. You'll find the time. How much time do you spend reading the sports page? How much time do you spend with video games? How much time do you spend in social media? You have the time, and you can't afford not to do it. So, in conclusion, I think it's time that we upload from inside our internal technology, and we live a life of meaning instead of a life of existence. We upload love, we upload kindness, we upload our own happiness, and don't depend on external circumstances to make us that way. I believe we can do this. Thank you very much.